Hi, I just want to tell you my adoption story, and I got to tell you first of all that there's no better way to form a family than through adoption, but it's not for the faint of heart, and having a good lawyer really makes it not just manageable, but a pleasant experience worthy of remembering. I would say that our adoption's different than most, but as I've talked to other adoptive families, everybody's story is different. Ours is unusual in that we had signed up with an adoption agency after years of infertility and had completed the home study on a Saturday, and 2 days later I get a call from my OB saying a baby's been born, did we want to adopt her? Needless to say, I was shocked because the agency said we had about 6 to 8 months before we bring a child home. I called the agency and they called and spoke to the hospital social worker and the birth mom and the doctor, called me back and said, this is the real deal, send us $15,000, we'll send our attorney over. The next hour was just full of multiple feelings, excitement, elation, fear, and then we get another call saying they realized that they hadn't even written up the home study. It had just been completed that Saturday, and we needed to go find our own adoption lawyer. We don't need to pay them anything. At that point it's late afternoon and adoption offices in our small town are closing. I'm calling one after another and I'm having no luck, and I'm in panic mode because they also said if we didn't have somebody to do the surrenders, then the child would probably end up in foster care. And we really didn't want to do that. I called a friend of mine who had done several DFACS adoptions, and she immediately gave me Judy Sartain's name and cell number. Had no idea, had never met her before. Called her, she stopped what she was doing to talk to me and said, I can be there tomorrow afternoon to do the surrenders, go meet the birth mom, call me back. We went through that process, wonderful process. Judy came that afternoon and was just amazing with the birth mom. And birth moms are my hero because they are the bravest women on the planet, but they're scared too. And she was very maternal with this girl, very sweet with her as she asked questions and just really checked on her. It wasn't just a clinical, I need all this information. I couldn't have asked for a better situation for this girl. After that process, the birth mom was able to go home. The hospital wanted to keep our daughter one more day since there had been no prenatal care to make sure there were no issues. So the next day Judy comes back for the release from the hospital, and the hospital had some sort of legal issue that just wasn't following Georgia law. But Judy knows Georgia law. Judy knows it up one side and down the other. She stepped in and was an absolute bulldog. We sat in the hospital room with this baby listening to her. She sent us in so we didn't have to witness. She just fought for us. Not much longer after that, we got to bring our daughter home. But that's just part of the process, because after that we have to do all of this legal paperwork to be able to keep her. Mind you, our home study hadn't even been written up yet, but she walked us through all that process. She kept me abreast on what I needed to turn in, what information I needed to gather to complete everything, and 6 months later, the adoption was finalized. It was an amazing day. Judy was there. She was there in pictures. 13 years later, Judy's still part of our family. And she's not just our lawyer, but she's our family friend. And we pray with her and she prays with us. So if you ever have a question of someone who's not just a great lawyer, who doesn't just know adoption law, probably better than anybody I know, but someone who's going to become part of your story, you need to call Judy.